modifications for ragdoll pose and flamenco pose. Let's start off with ragdoll pose. If you have lower back pain, if you're overcoming an injury, or if for whatever reason the pose is just too much, I'd like to show you one of the go-to modifications using a wall. You go up to the wall and you step your feet about 1 foot distance away from the wall. Same thing as a normal ragdoll. My feet are as wide as my hips, a little bit wider. Outer edges are parallel. Bend your knees until your hips hit the wall, and you bend your knees as much as you need to till your chest is on top of your knees. That might be here, that might be here, that might be here. Grab your elbows, drop your head. This will support your lower back. You can also use a stool in front of you if you need to for additional support. Now, in ragdoll pose, trembling and shaking in your legs is totally normal, as long as when you finish the pose and punch it out, the trembling and shaking goes away within 30 seconds, it's completely normal. And don't worry, the trembling and shaking doesn't last very long. In terms of the weight, you'd like the weight to be equally distributed on the tripod of your foot. Your heel is the back of the tripod, ball of your foot, and then the outer edge of your foot is the third part of the tripod. But you will find your weight goes forward and backwards during the pose, and that's totally fine. Second pose, flamenco pose. Remember, in flamenco pose, if you're struggling to get your leg up and you feel like you're just fighting your own body, for example, you're here and maybe you're at a 30-degree angle and you just feel like your leg is so heavy, I'd like to show you a couple of simple modifications that can make it work better. The first one is pillows underneath your hips. I'm using a couple pillows here, but you can use more pillows. There's nothing special about these pillows. At home, I prefer to use couch pillows. They tend to be firmer and thicker. And I would put these pillows underneath my hips, and that would give me a little bit more lift. In all cases, I want both your arms and your legs to be straight. Arms straight, legs straight, through all variations of flamenco pose. When we open to the side, or when we cross to the side, if you find your body is tipping, it's normal to have your shoulder and your hip roll up, but if you find yourself tipping so much so that you feel like you're falling and you're losing the stretch, what I would encourage you to do is put a stool, a couch, or something next to you so that as you open up, you have something to lean against. And as you find more mobility, we go lower, and as you find more mobility, we go even lower. And eventually, you can open up and put your leg down on the ground. Try those variations. Now, if you're really still feeling stuck, I'd like to show you one more variation in flamenco pose that some of our students find helpful. I'll do this here on this mirrored wall, but usually at home, we would do this in a door jamb. So you'd open up a door, and then you wedge your body through the door. And I put one heel up on the door, and then instead of using the belt or the strap, I wiggle in, wiggle in, wiggle in until I get a nice stretch here, and I hold, right? And then when I open to the side, I would open like this. When I would cross, it might not work, but that's okay. For some of you, when you're feeling really, really stuck with the strap, this can be a simple variation. Remember, in all of these poses, there is no destination, meaning whether we're talking about a ragdoll pose or flamenco, it's all about the practice. So whether you're feeling discomfort or pain or blockage, figure out a way to modify. Start with 2-minute holds, build and grow from there. You'll be very pleased by how quickly you make progress.